Hey everyone, it's Riley here. I am actually here today to talk about my tongue piercing. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and let you see it. So I got my tongue pierced on Friday, August 5th. So it's been a couple of days now. I think today is day 4 or 5. I got it done around 3 p.m. So I guess I'll just go ahead and jump right into it. Before I went, I ate something because I knew it would be hard to eat solid foods for a few days. So I wanted to make sure I already was nice and full. And also to make sure I didn't pass out or anything like that. So I showed up a few minutes early. I had to fill out some paperwork, as you always do. If you don't have to fill out paperwork before, you probably shouldn't be going to that place because they're obviously not professional. So you go ahead and just fill out a little bit of paperwork about, if you have any health conditions. Sometimes they ask for like your email, stuff like that. So you go ahead and fill all that out, sign your name. Then the piercer went ahead and took me back to choose what kind of jewelry I wanted. I chose a 14 gauge purple anodized internally threaded titanium barbell from Industrial Strength. I believe it's 3/4 of an inch. I know some people go with an inch long, but I didn't need one that was that long. I guess I have a relatively small tongue, so I didn't need one bigger than a 3/4 of an inch. I'm not going to mention the place I got it done just because I didn't get permission from them, so I wouldn't feel comfortable mentioning it. So I'll go ahead, let me see. So then she took me back to the room after she had autoclaved the jewelry and set everything up. She dried off my tongue and marked it on the top and the bottom. She let me look in the mirror to see if I liked the placement. And then she went ahead and just, let me put my tongue back in my mouth for a minute, stuck my tongue back out, dried my tongue again, put the clamps on. They weren't really tight, they didn't hurt. They shouldn't be tight enough to hurt. That would probably mean they're putting them on way too tight. She went ahead and got the needle. I closed my eyes. I don't like to look at it, but whatever you prefer, I think it just makes it easier. She put the needle over it and she just said, breathe in. And then when I was breathing out, she stuck the needle through. As far as pain, if I had to compare it to any other piercing I've had, I'd say probably my earlobes. I think those were probably about the same. I'd put them at a 1 or a 2 on the pain scale out of 10. As a comparison, my belly button was probably a 6, and my nose was probably a 4 or 5. So if you've had any of those done, that would kind of be a good comparison for you to see what kind of pain you're looking at. So after she was done, she slid a taper through just to get the needle out, so I didn't poke myself. And then she just slid the jewelry through and screwed it on the bottom ball and made sure it was tight and everything so I didn't lose it or swallow it or something like that. After that, she gave me some water just to make sure I was okay. Sat down for a minute, went to the front, paid, and I left. So that was my experience. It probably only took about 30 minutes just because autoclaving takes a little bit of time. But overall, it was an easy process. I'd have no trouble going through it again. Honestly, the healing is the worst part. The first couple days are really, really rough. I'd put them at about a 6 out of 10 on the pain scale. Really not the pain scale, more of how inconvenient it is, I guess is what I would say. So yeah, the first, 6 days are not going to be very fun. But it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. I think your mind is your worst enemy. When getting any kind of piercing, your mind is your worst enemy. So, as far as aftercare, I mouthwash or a sea salt soak after everything I eat. Unless I'm eating like ice, obviously, or water, because that doesn't matter. I use this. It's the Act Kids mouthwash, bubblegum flavored. I just like the bubblegum because it doesn't burn like the mint does. I've had great success with it, and this is what I've been using. And make sure it's alcohol free. As far as the saline, I use just simply saline wound wash. It's 0.9% sodium chloride, no extra ingredients. I use this as opposed to mixing my own because it's sterile. As well as I don't use H2Ocean because they have an added ingredient that actually comes from eggs. And so I just don't feel comfortable putting that in my piercing. But if you've had success with it, obviously you should keep using it. But if you have not used anything yet, I would just recommend getting regular sterile saline wound wash. They have it at CVS, Rite Aid, grocery stores, Walmart. Any of those stores will have it. The first few days you're going to want to eat soft foods like mashed potatoes, applesauce, jello, soup, ice cream, that kind of thing, yogurt. I was told not to, or I was told to avoid dairy. I did for a few days. I haven't been really good at it just because I'm a vegetarian. So I kind of need dairy for my diet. It's where a lot of my fat comes from. So I didn't avoid it as well as I could have. But I haven't had any problems as long as I mouthwash really well after, and sometimes even brush my teeth after I eat dairy. I've also been using these. They're like floss with a handle. I've been using those to get like under the balls on the top and the bottom to make sure that there's no gunk under there, because sometimes that does happen. You get food or something stuck under there. You want to make sure that you get all of that out of there so it doesn't cause infection or anything like that. So I've been using those. I've been brushing my teeth just twice a day. I haven't been doing it 3 times a day. I don't think that's necessary, and I think it's just going to dry out your tongue and dry out your mouth in general. Drink a lot of water. As much water as you can drink, drink it. I'm telling you, it will help. You'll feel so much better if you just keep drinking water. As far as, if you need to hide it from parents or work or something like that, I don't think it's that hard to hide. The first few days are just because of swelling. I went to work a few days after, and it wasn't that bad. 2 days after I think I went to work, and I didn't have a bad time. I work in customer service, so I do have to talk to a lot of people. And it wasn't that bad. I was able to talk, keep conversation, that kind of thing. It wasn't a huge deal. You just have to be careful. Talk a little slower, eat slower, drink slower, that kind of thing. Avoid drinking out of straws, that kind of thing. If you're hiding it from your parents, maybe you're 18 and your parents are just strict, that kind of thing, just eat slow, and just don't talk a lot, kind of keep quiet. But if you're, under 18 and you got it without your parents' permission, I would not recommend doing that, because any place that lets you get it done without parents' permission is not going to be a professional place, and you could get very, very sick. Especially with the tongue piercing, there are very, 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 many dangers that come with it. So I would just recommend not doing that. Just wait till you're 18 or wait till your parents say that you can, because you could get very sick, and you could even die if they hit one of your arteries. So just don't do it, and don't do it at home. It's not safe. I'm telling you, don't do it. As far as, I know people say sometimes they have trouble with their teeth and things like that. I haven't had any trouble so far. It doesn't really clack against my teeth at all. Maybe if I'm chewing and it accidentally gets a little close to my tooth, it'll clack it. But as far as when I'm talking, it doesn't have any contact with my teeth. That's good though. So if you do just get it done and it's having contact with your teeth when you're talking, I would call your piercer and let them know, and maybe it needs to be placed in a different location. So just keep an eye on that and make sure that you're not having issues with your teeth and gums, because it's not worth losing your teeth over a piercing. As well as I recommend, if at all possible, at some point switching to 18 karat gold. 18 karat gold is softer than your teeth. So if at all possible, I would recommend using that at some point, just because it is better for your teeth, and if you bite it, you're not going to break a tooth. So that is my advice. I'm not a professional, so I can't give you any kind of professional advice. This is just based on my own personal experience. If you have any questions, just comment down below or send me a message and I'll get right back to you. If you'd like to see a video about my vertical medusa, my gestrum, I know they're kind of not very common, so people may want to hear about it. If so, just comment below or again, send me a message. And subscribe if you'd like to see more piercing videos. That's what I'm probably going to be putting on my channel, as well as maybe some tattoo related videos if anybody's interested. But I've had I've had a lot of piercings, so if you have any questions, just let me know and I will be available to talk to you. But I hope everybody has a splendid day. Bye.